Tonight, we are talking all about the alkaline diet. So what happened with this one is I basically realized that a lot of people have bought into this alkaline diet thing. And I understand why, okay? If you haven't heard of this, you're probably better off, unless you're part of like the standard American diet. If you're just eating a standard American diet of processed junk, then you probably would see some kind of benefit from this. But odds are you've already heard of this and you have been told that it's the cure for disease, right? It's the cure for everything from cancer to osteoporosis and whatever the hell else they decide to throw into that. So this particular episode, the Alkaline Diet Fact or Fiction, is going to untangle some of that for you. I'm going to explain how some well-meaning people, maybe not all well-meaning people, have gotten things a little bit confused. We're going to explore all of the primary claims of the acid-alkaline hypothesis. We're going to talk about what they get right, very little, and what they get wrong, and we'll discuss the claims about things such as cancer. The one that really drives me nuts, the main reason why I am doing this episode is because of the cancer aspect of this thing. We're going to jump into some very basic biochemistry that you will be able to follow. I promise you it's not going to be crazy over your head, right? We're going to teach you the biochemistry so you can dig a little bit deeper and understand this acid-alkaline hypothesis beyond the clickbait Facebook headlines. You guys know how I love the clickbait headlines. Drives me crazy, right? So we're going to talk about the actual scientific data, how it has been twisted to fit a particular narrative, okay? That's what we're going to get into. So to give you guys an idea, if you don't know who I am, my name is Justin Nault. I am the founder of Clovis. I invented a line of nutritional products called the Perfect Paleo Powder. I am a certified nutritional therapist. I am a certified specialist in sports nutrition. I am a certified specialist in fitness nutrition, and I transform people's lives. We lose weight, we lose inches, we have non-scale victories, people quit their jobs, they become entrepreneurs, all the crazy things. You can see those testimonies and more at IamClovis.com. First and foremost, I want you to understand that this entire hypothesis, this acid-alkaline hypothesis, it all rests on one giant question. One question. And what I need you to understand before we go into this is that if the answer to this question is no, the conversation ends. There is no reason to go further than that. It's all moot from that point forward. If the answer to this particular question, the one big fat question for tonight, if the answer to this question is yes, then the hypothesis deserves further exploration. So the question is, can we significantly impact the pH of our blood with the foods that we ingest? Can we significantly impact the pH of our blood through the foods that we ingest? Can the foods that we eat change the pH levels in our blood? That's the big question. Drum roll, please. The answer to that question, drum roll. The answer is no. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming out. Just kidding. We're going to get into why this is false. I'm going to teach you the biochemistry behind it. You're going to understand it by the end. But I'm telling you, the answer to that question is no, okay? So, what is the hypothesis? Let's talk about what they are correct about. Like I said, very few things that they are correct about in this whole thing, but there is one thing. That is the fact that digestion, the metabolic processes of digestion, create acidic and alkaline end products. That is true. This is even a weird name for it. It's called ash. Literally, food gets digested and broken down into these end products called ash. There is alkaline ash and there is acidic ash. This is very true. That is true. Now, because of this, the hypothesis vilifies particularly animal proteins, and this is where they get me very upset, particularly red meat animal protein. Why? Because they produce acidic ash rather than alkaline ash. Vegetables and fruits, these types of things tend to produce alkaline ash. Okay? So, if this is as far as you're willing to go, if this is as deep as you're willing to go into this acid-alkaline hypothesis, then the removal of animal products seems to make complete sense. And that is the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal here is to get you to a vegetarian or vegan alkaline diet presented as some miracle cure for basically everything, particularly cancer, okay? That's what they tell you. Now, these miracle protocols tell you to only eat alkaline foods in hopes of creating an alkaline environment in your body, particularly in your blood. They want you to have alkaline blood, okay? Then they take the claims even further and they preach things like, quote, cancer can't survive in a non-acidic environment, or cancer can't survive in an alkaline environment, right? Or an acidic environment promotes osteoporosis. That's a big one. I'll probably touch on that a little bit less than cancer because the cancer thing is the reason why I'm doing this whole episode, okay? So we're gonna focus there tonight. But all these claims have created a massive industry, like a massive industry. Google the alkaline diet. It's insane. You get books, podcasts, bloggers, everything you could possibly think of, entire diet protocols, not to mention the endless supply of green superfoods and fruit smoothies and all of these things, even alkaline water now. It's like alkaline, 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 right? Everywhere you turn, it's this giant multi-million, it's probably $1 billion industry, this alkaline diet thing. But what is it all centered around? If we are acid, okay? Acid or alkaline, which one are you? What environment is happening in your body? Well, luckily for you, they have another product you can buy that will tell you. These are called urine strips. These are urine pH strips. You pee on a strip, it tells you the pH of your urine to see if your body is acidic or alkaline. Does anybody listening to this episode right now, anybody watching me, you pee on a pH test strip to see the pH in your urine to find out if you are acidic or alkaline? Does anybody see the big, giant problem staring them in the face right now? The big, giant problem that this entire industry is focused on. Blinders, take the blinders off. Do you see the big, giant problem? And I'm sorry to say this, but if you fall into this alkaline diet thing and you have bought pH strips, I'm probably about to make you feel a little bit silly. I'm really sorry. This is a common sense show, right? The pH level of your urine does not in any way, shape, or form reflect the pH level of your blood. A urine pH strip tells you next to nothing about your blood. Think about it. This is literally groupthink at its very best. This is what happens. It's so easy to overlook common sense when all we do is follow the leader with the clickbait headlines, everybody. This is what happens. You miss blatant signs from the universe like, hey man, this might not be the whole story. You should probably pay attention, right? The standard measure of acidic or alkaline is urine, which leads me into the actual science, okay? So we're gonna move past the nonsense now, and we're going to get into the actual science. We are going to talk about blood pH, okay? Because of what I just said, I want to be very, very, very clear on something. There has never been a single study, not one single study ever, that even kind of remotely proves that what we eat affects the pH of our blood. Not a single study, not one, that even comes close to proving that the food we ingest impacts the pH levels in our blood. It doesn't exist, guys. The science doesn't exist. And of course, what you eat is going to impact the pH level of your urine. Why? Because urine is one of the ways that the body excretes toxins. It's what the body is designed to do, right? We excrete acidic end products through urine specifically so that those end products don't end up in the blood. That's what these processes are there for. It's the same reason, if you've ever messed around with the ketogenic diet, which I have extensively, I did daily blood draws for over 6 weeks, deep nutritional ketosis, right? I've been in and out of keto for years at this point. I've done so much experimentation. I will tell you through firsthand account, this is the same reason you could do a blood draw and be reading in deep, deep ketosis and then test on a urine strip and it will show no ketosis whatsoever, no ketones in the urine. So you do a blood test and you have through the roof ketone levels. And then you pee on a ketone test strip, pee strip, and show that you are not in ketosis. Why does this happen? Because the ketones are in your blood, not in your urine. When you first switch to a keto diet, everybody wants to pee on these little pee strips and make them turn purple. I'm in ketosis, I'm in ketosis. No, you're not. Your body is excreting the ketones because it doesn't know how to fucking use them. That's what's happening. It's going, I don't know what to do with this. Spit it out. Once your body becomes fat adapted and you learn how to use ketones for energy in your body, the blood will take on those ketones and stop spitting them out into the toilet. It uses them, okay? Urine is a reflection of excess stuff that your body is purposefully excreting. It's getting it out for a reason, okay? Urine measures excess. Always remember that. It's not in the blood and it's not directly correlated to the blood. The human body functions, I need to show you guys this. And when we talk about pH levels in the blood, it's incredibly important. And I want to tell you why. Because the human body functions properly in an extremely narrow pH range. That is right around 7.4. Now I want you to understand, this range of pH is so narrow that if this happens, if you go below 7.0 or above 7.7, you die. You don't get sick. It doesn't creep up on you. You don't linger at 6.9 pH for 10 years until metabolic disease creeps up on you somehow because of the acidic environment. If you go below 7.0, you go below 7.7, this is an actual death sentence. It is almost immediate death. It doesn't persist slowly over time. Again, remember that. We are talking about almost certain death. For this reason, the body has multiple processes that keep this blood pH right where it needs to be. It has multiple protective measures to keep it there, okay? So we have buffers in the blood plasma that literally compensate for changes in pH, keep things balanced. Then you also have this issue of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the most prevalent acid in the entire body. So what the blood does is carries the carbon dioxide to your lungs and you exhale it, aka excrete it, aka remove the acid from the body, okay? And then we already talked about urine. So the kidneys filter out these excess acids in the blood and you excrete them through urine. Hence why urine and blood pH are not correlated, okay? So the only time you're gonna see altered blood pH, like significantly altered blood pH, the only time this is going to happen is when there is a serious medical issue that is already present, like a really bad medical condition. A couple examples of this are chronic kidney failure. And if you've ever done CrossFit, you hear people joking about this, or some people have actually got it or whatever, rhabdo. This is where your body's muscular skeleton, your skeletal muscles literally just start devouring themselves. It starts basically disintegrating. And while this muscle is breaking itself down, it's dumping specific proteins into the blood that can change the pH of the blood. It's crazy, but these are already serious medical conditions that have nothing to do with alkaline or acidic foods. It just has nothing to do with it. The pH level change in your blood is a symptom of disease. It's not the cause of disease. And we're going to get into this backwards thinking that is happening in this alkaline diet world. We're going to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about it from an evolutionary perspective, okay? So if a tiny swing up or down, this is pretty tiny, 7.0 to 7.7. If a tiny swing up or down means almost certain death for a human being, it wouldn't make much sense to design the human body in such a way that if we eat the wrong types of foods, we can be killed almost instantly. We can just be a single meal, shift the blood pH, and all of a sudden we're just dead. That wouldn't make sense. We wouldn't be here. We literally wouldn't be here if you look at this strictly from an evolutionary perspective. So let's take this even further. There is a substance that you can ingest that could significantly impact the pH of your blood. That substance is in your house right now, most likely, and it's called baking soda. if you were dumb enough to take, say, a 2-liter bottle and pour a shitload of baking soda in there and just chug that water, try to get as much baking soda in your system as you could, it could potentially impact the pH level of your blood. However, more defense mechanisms. You would get violently ill. The body would do every gross thing you can imagine to get that shit out of its system before the blood pH level is ever changed. You are going to reject that toxin so violently, you are going to be very, very ill. Think about it. There's defense mechanisms set up all over the place to ensure that this doesn't happen, you guys. You need to remember that, okay? But again, remember, all of this acid stuff is how they sell you shit, right? Your urine's acidic. Better drink this green superfood. That's what happens. That's literally what we're up against here. Let's talk about the evolutionary perspective again. We think about this just from an evolutionary perspective because I'm a paleo guy. You guys know that. The foundation of everything I do is paleo, right? So let's talk about indigenous cultures, hunter-gatherer tribes. If we could significantly impact our blood pH through foods we ingest, human beings would not be here. We wouldn't have survived. Why is that? Because literally throughout all of human history, till a little tiny sliver of time since agriculture, right? Our ancestors have always been up against something called food scarcity. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. Beggars can't be choosers. Do you think that throughout all of history, our ancestors got to choose every day between whether they eat whole grain bread or pre-rinsed kale or a superfood fruit smoothie each and every day? Which one do we want for dinner today, Janice? No. They ate whatever the hell was in front of them so they didn't die. So they didn't starve to death, okay? Yet here we are, centuries and centuries later, still existing as a species, as human beings, filling the pockets of Jamba Juice and Smoothie King, fucking delusional, drinking whatever fruit smoothie that we think is warding off cancer, and add in the $2 shot of wheatgrass, please. That'll really help. You know, that's what we're doing, guys. It's crazy. Like, really just stop and think about it for a second. Take a look at the hunter-gatherer point of view, right? There are indigenous cultures throughout history that sustained on a caloric intake of almost 100% animal products. Literally close to 100% of total caloric intake coming from animal products. Now, again, all of these foods are considered what's called net acidic. So according to this alkaline diet, the acid-alkaline hypothesis, if you're eating all animal products, you're going to have a skyrocketed acidic diet. Net acidic, right? Mostly acidic, because all of your food is coming from animal proteins. Mostly proteins, animal fats too, right? Fast forward to today, there was a large study done, this large review of 230 contemporary hunter-gatherer tribes that showed 68% of the diet was made up specifically of animal protein. Not even fats, animal protein. An acidic food, one of the most acidic foods, right? It's meant to be completely avoided on this alkaline diet. This is 68% of their entire diet. So according to the bloggers and the people in this alkaline diet space, they should have had in their society rampant cancer, rampant osteoporosis, all sorts of chronic metabolic diseases, right? Yet, we see the exact opposite. Strong bones and completely absent of chronic disease as we know it in Western society. Completely absent. That's crazy, guys. Think about that. Just think about it for 1 second, right? Now, in case you're still not convinced, I am going to quickly jump into and expose how this is not only useless, I think, useless, but also detrimental and potentially dangerous in terms of human health. So we're going to jump into that, okay?